David Daoud of Compliance Standards here. Let's look at the ITAD industry's evolving ESG reporting tools. Today is the 13th of May, 2024. Welcome to this talk. Now, companies that offer IT Asset Disposition services, ITAD, have long paid attention to reporting the outcome of their operations from a financial and operational standpoints, as well as from an environmental standpoint when possible. Now, many leading ITAD vendors spend large amounts of resources to track how they are doing on the environmental front and try to convince their customers that they had a good handle on reporting such tracking and outcome. The truth is that until very recently, environmental reporting has not been a major request from clients, yet a few ITAD companies offer data to their customers as a value-added service. Now, for a few leading ITAD companies, this movement started as early as 2003 when the Green IT debate raged. I engaged back then with a small number of ITADs that began building tools necessary to track the flow of devices and what happened to those devices afterwards. Although such efforts to socialize these tools waned over time due to customers being concerned primarily about business continuity and other things they consider critical, from, for example, the 2008 financial crisis to the 2019 COVID pandemic, many ITAD vendors never dropped their efforts to improve their tracking and reporting mechanisms and capabilities. At least two factors acted as an incentive to keep building such tools and improve them over time, even if customers were not so insistent about them after all. Now, the first was the emergence of e-waste watchdogs and their certifications, in particular e-stewards, which has had an added focus on environmental controls, hence putting pressure on ITAD vendors and recyclers to keep an eye on the destinations of their output. Now, e-stewards may have helped with its own assessments and its own tools, and despite the pressure and the added cost, that had obviously a positive impact on many leading ITADs in that it forced them to remain focused. The second factor was the explosion of new programming and application tools that dwarfed the traditional database systems of previous periods. These new, easy-to-learn, lightweight programming languages allowed the creation of custom applications and platforms at a fraction of the cost. The availability of programmers and developers in faraway places such as India, and the proliferation of online platforms that offered programmers such as Fiverr, Upwork, and freelancers.com have been catalysts for these tools, with companies now relying on platforms that are likely to explode in the years to come with the emergence of artificial intelligence. Today, the pursuit of the perfect tool continues, and even if customers are not yet so demanding on that front, some ITAD companies are bracing for the potential impact that their customers' ESG policies may have on them in the long run, in particular when addressing the so-called ESG Scope 3. So what is happening today? Well, a number of ITAD companies are investing in retooling their information tracking and presentation platforms to stay ahead of the game. In general, though, the outside audience does not see these efforts and does not understand the efforts it takes to build such system, but the focus on designing an effective user interface meant to simplify information sharing is part of the broad efforts being undertaken by industry leaders to be more transparent and showcase their achievements. I just spent a moment with Atlanta-based ITAD firm Apto Solutions to review the company's user interface related to its ESG reporting, and what I saw was a compelling model that has great potential going forward. The Apto Pulse Client Portal contains a collection of features that clients would intuitively need. They are the traditional access points to current inventory, status of current tasks and operations called jobs, sales history, and other equally important sources of data that customers would appreciate. The platform also boasts an intuitive environmental impact reporting tool that pulls vast amounts of data to display output achievements. The company built this system to make available real-time data to clients who need the information as part of their own ESG reporting. Now, one of the areas that translates a client's ITAD outcome is the amount of greenhouse gas, or GHG, saved from the reuse and recycling activities related to the client's own ITAD operations. Now, this reporting mechanism is likely to be welcomed by clients given their commitment to ESG reporting under pressure from their own stakeholders. The asset inventory page is also an impressive platform where clients have visibility on the status and quantities of their devices being treated by Apto. This includes unit count and estimated value, giving a client a more transparent way of assessing its ITAD operations. Now, the dashboard shows some of the minute details that are extremely important for IT asset managers who need that information as part of their day-to-day jobs. Granular data is available on a per-device basis, but the dashboard also provides general snapshots and summaries for other professionals involved in ITAD, but not on a day-to-day basis, including sales history. ESG reporting brings new information capabilities to clients. Data made available includes the sort of information that clients may need to assess their own environmental posture, such as GHG emissions, materials, and toxicity. The data is available on a form factor and product class basis. The dashboard also makes available to clients the sort of certificates issued by Apto on the outcome of both data destruction and recycling. Now, the Apto dashboard is definitely well-designed, informative, and brings added informational value to clients on their standing as a singular customer and where Apto stands as a service provider in general. Let's take a look at the outlook and some recommendations. As Apto and other ITADs continue to push the boundaries of transparency, tracking outcome, and information sharing, the following 4 areas need to be front and center, not only to prepare for what's to come in terms of ITAD companies' own obligations, but also to prepare customers in their own understanding of the tools and how the data will affect their own ESG positions. 1. Current tools and programming languages are likely to be obsolete in the years and perhaps possibly even the months to come, courtesy AI. AI's impact on information platforms will not be evolutionary, but it will be revolutionary instead. The velocity and scope of the changes in the sequential AI versions are moving at a breathtaking pace. This means that within a very short period of time, we will experience the emergence of new programming languages and related tools that will essentially dwarf existing platforms in terms of effectiveness and impact. This fast-paced cycle will demand a completely new IT culture within ITADs and virtually every other company to keep ahead of the curve and not fall behind. 2. In this context, ITAD vendors, and indeed any company whose key component of its core business is information, must be prepared to rethink how to address internal IT project developments tied to information sharing, including specifically to ESG. It's not going to be an easy process considering the cost of acquiring talent and keeping that talent due to the need for subsequent necessary improvements. 3. The socializing of these information tools must also be part of ITAD's core go-to-market strategy. So far, these tools have had little impact on customer behavior since users tend to be lower-level IT or procurement employees. But as ESG forces new mandates requiring the attention of IT, finance, legal, compliance, facilities, PR marketing, management, and board of directors, ITAD companies must redesign their own communication strategy to reach these critical stakeholders. While 75% of ITAD is generally the domain of IT departments, according to compliance standards research, ESG should raise the contribution of non-IT department stakeholders who need such information as part of the ESG mandate going forward. Addressing these stakeholders should be a priority. 4. One area that ITADs must consider is the opportunity AI will bring to integrate its own data infrastructure with that of its clients. Such integration will have the benefits of creating seamless communications between client and vendor, enabling deep synergies, efficiencies, and added productivity. More importantly, for an ITAD vendor, such integration could be a guarantee that its customer will remain loyal for a long time. Thank you for listening. Until our next talk, thank you and goodbye.